Let me start out with, I have discovered the meaning of life. And hopefully in the next 7 minutes, I'll give it to you. But first, let me get into about me. I work so I can play. I often speak, one of my number one topics I speak about is work-life balance. So I haven't been recruited for that speech yet, but I talk about it all the time. But for me, work and life are completely intertwined. There is no separation. That is the root of that for me. There's no separation in work and life. It's all the same. I'm married to Elizabeth. She's an emergency room physician. And I have 2 boys, Gunnar and Archer. I grew up in a small town 90 miles north of here, Oakland, Nebraska. And I was one of 5 kids, number 4. My family had nothing. My father was a Methodist minister. My mother worked in a nursing home. And when my father died at the age of 49, I was 18, getting ready to go to college. And my mom said, here's $200. Good luck. This is what we have saved for you. So I had one choice. It was UNL, Tim. And I worked through college, and I borrowed. And those things became important to me throughout my career. In that period, I met my college roommate, which was Mike Dunlap, who I started the company with. And ultimately, I ended up, yeah, there we were, scary. That was college. I ultimately met a girl, and she wanted to move to Boston, and I chased her to Boston. It didn't work out with her, but I ended up taking a great job there in an investment bank in Boston. In investment bank, I worked in Luxembourg for them for a year, in Toronto, and in Boston many years, where I ultimately did meet my wife. I got married, graduated from business school, quit my job, and moved to Chicago and helped start Nelnet all in one weekend. It was a very, very busy weekend. And when we started, we had 4 people and a vision. And the vision was to make people's dreams of obtaining a higher education become true. I personally wouldn't be here if someone had not taken a bet on me, had not loaned me the money, had not bet on me to be able to help me pay for my way through college. That's us at the New York Stock Exchange. Yes, in 2003, we took the company public, and that's us ringing the bell. Now, Nelnet is a conglomeration of businesses. We have 3,500 associates, $180 billion with a B in loans for 9 million customers that we service. We process over $20 billion in payments annually for K through 12 and higher ed schools, with over 2 million payment plan customers. We own a fiber company. You may have read about that in the paper this weekend. And we've invested in much of the startup community in Lincoln, Nebraska. I have always contemplated the meaning of life. Maybe it had to do with when my father passed away, I think is when it started, but why do we exist? Why am I on this planet? Why do I work? Why do I play? But it's always eluded me. I've actually traveled the world looking for it. I've contemplated it in the pubs in London. I've pontificated about it in the cathedrals of Paris. I've worried about it when a giant moray eel swam right between my legs on a dive. We were diving with sharks in Honduras. Not to mention the epiphanies I had about it while in the coffee shops of Amsterdam. But I'm not going to talk about that. I got a whiff of it many years ago while smoking. I was in Havana, Cuba, while smoking cigars in Cuba. I once discussed it with an archaeologist of ancient Indian ruins in the deserts of New Mexico. I feared I would never get a time to learn it after being charged, this is the truth, being charged 3 separate times by grizzly bears. And by the way, Brad Pitt made it look very romantic at the end of Legends of the Fall when he attacked a bear. And Leonardo DiCaprio made it look horrifying in The Revenant, if you've seen that movie. I factored in the brevity of it as I flew along the mountain ranges in British Columbia in order to jump out of a perfectly working helicopter to go heli-skiing. I openly wept in wonder, thinking, this is it, while standing in the Arctic Circle when I first saw the Northern Lights. I once discussed it with a sitting vice president of the United States, and I realized that he was running the country and not his boss. I came so close to it while catching a giant trout in Argentina in Patagonia. Just 2 months ago, I reveled in the awesomeness of it while swimming up to whale sharks in New Mexico with Jay and Tanya Wilkinson. You were not supposed to touch them, but no one's watching, and I did. It's amazing. The closest I have ever felt to being in the presence of God was in the room when each of my 2 children were born. If you've ever been in the room when someone has either died or been born, you know what I'm talking about. I actually may have discovered it long, long time ago when the tears of joy overwhelmed me, when the clock ticked to 0, when I sat in the Orange Bowl in 1995. And I so want to feel that again. But recently, it dawned upon me. The meaning of life has been known to me all along. I am not religious, but I am spiritual. To understand the meaning of life, you first must make an assumption. And that assumption is that there is a higher being. That higher being, we may call that being Allah or Jehovah or God. We have Buddha. We have all different types of terms for that being. But I believe that there is a higher being, and that being gives all of us a spirit, a soul we call it, something separate from our physical being. If that assumption is true, then why would God give us a soul? And the answer is this. It's so we can experience physical life. The only real way to learn anything is through physical experience. It's through the actual experience of it. So my example is this. I know you smell the donuts, but look at the apple. If we were just standing around and you had never taken a bite of an apple, and I explained to you that it was red and that when I bit into it, the juices would go down my throat, it would taste like sugar, it would fire endorphins in my brain, it would make me feel really good, you may understand that, but you'd never know what an apple tastes like until you've bit into that apple. So now, imagine if I tried to teach you the concepts of friendship, hate, poverty, fear, trust, passion, sex, heartbreak, sacrifice, hunger, pain, anguish, death, love. You would never know any of those things, right? But the reason we are put on this planet is to gain experience through human interaction, relationships, experiences, is the physical and mental sensations we get from smelling, seeing, touching, tasting. It's not something that can be learned. It's not something that can be learned by being taught by someone else. The meaning of life is what you get from living.